This is Kathy Pichulo with the Kenton Chamber of Commerce, and I'm in the village of Kenmore. And I'm very excited today to be speaking with Dr. Sal. Dr. Sal Grottadaria owns Diversified Services, and he's making such an impact on people in Western New York. They have many locations, and I'll start with that. Good afternoon.
Hello.
And how many locations are there?
Well, we have 10 right now. We're just going to be opening up an 11th.
Oh, fantastic. And I think that's in Lockport, is that right?
Yeah, that's our newest one is in Lockport.
All right. Looks like a beautiful building.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
That's exciting. They're always very creative, the buildings are. So there are, in the village of Kenmore, I've been aware of Diversified Hearing for the longest time. So then when I talked to Anne Marie, your daughter, who runs, is the CEO of the company, is that correct?
COO.
COO, okay. And as I started to learn more about it, I thought I'd better find out more from you of how this got started and then the expansion into the different services. Or maybe it always was all of the services.
Yeah, no, it really just started off as, well, originally as just as a speech language pathology, providing speech therapy.
Okay.
And medical speech therapy. So speech therapy, everybody thinks of it as like W for R substitutions and lisping and that type of thing. Ours was more of a medical model. So people who had strokes and head injuries, those types of things. And then we branched into swallowing disorders. So people who lost their ability to swallow and eat. So we kept it on a medical model, but gradually, we introduced developmental disorders, for pediatrics, and then the other disciplines just came, into being as well. Audiology for hearing, physical therapy, occupational therapy. We talk about speech therapy. It's just not little kids working on lisping. We have a big medical base that we work on, and some of the things that you would see in speech pathology are working on head injuries or people who have had strokes and lost their language. You can lose the ability to use your tongue and your lips just the same way as a stroke can affect your arms and your legs. It could affect your speech mechanisms, your arms, your lips, your swallowing mechanisms. So we've had more of a medical model, for that, and for all of our services, too. But we don't ignore the developmental disabilities, as well. From age zero, on up to 21, we're dealing with the pediatric population too.
I understand that's a big part of the business.
It is a big part of what we do. It didn't start off, to be that way, but nowadays, it is. Back when I first graduated and I came out of school and got my doctorate degree, it really was not a big thing to work on developmental disabilities. We used to let the kids go and mature. Over the years, we've learned a lot, and we learned that you really have to remediate the problem.
Catch it early.
Absolutely. Some of the background is that my father, who just recently passed away with COVID, in December. But my dad had a hearing loss from the time that I was a little kid. He was in the military. He was on the USS Ticonderoga. His ship was hit by kamikazes, and there were explosions, and he had noise damage to his hearing. A little bit later on, he got a disease of the ear called otosclerosis, and he had to have surgeries. The surgery went bad. So my father, had very bad hearing, his whole life. I saw the way he suffered and some of the limitations that we had, and it just made me realize that we were going to open up an office that was going to treat people better than my father was treated. And it was just simply not that people didn't treat him well, it's just that we didn't have the capabilities of treating him the way we could treat him today.
Right.
But that's my mission. That's why we do what we do. Yeah.
Now, I understand that you've recently been awarded the Distinguished Clinical Service Award.
Yes, we have, and I am so proud of that award, because it's an award for my staff. It's an award for the entire clinic. It was awarded by the New York State Speech Language Hearing Association, and it is the first time, to my knowledge, that it has ever been awarded to a private practice. Usually, it's awarded to a large clinic like a hospital, a university. It's the first time it's ever been awarded to a private clinic, and it makes me just so proud of the staff to accept the award on their behalf.
Absolutely, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, we're very proud of that, actually, and that was one of the reasons I reached out, was to recognize that. And I understand that because of COVID, et cetera, that they didn't hold the state convention or the state association convention, but that you will be able to actually receive an award next April.
Right. Yeah. Actually, they held a virtual award ceremony. But yes, in April it will be the in-person ceremony.
Super. That's fantastic. So you'll be attending that, hopefully,
yes.
And receiving that.
Yeah.
And it just goes a lot to say that your lifetime of work here has been recognized.
Yes, again, we're so happy, for our staff, because we couldn't do this without our staff. But it shows our unique programming, too. So when you think about things like speech therapy or physical therapy or audiology, let's take the audiology piece. It's not just testing your hearing and providing somebody with hearing aids. Well, we know that there's a huge cognitive link between hearing loss and cognition and growing older and dementia. So we're able to, with our other disciplines, our speech pathology, our occupational therapy, we're able to bring in those other disciplines and not only treat the hearing loss, but treat the whole person, for those types of problems. Your balance centers, dizziness and balance. Your balance centers are located in your ears. Most people don't know that, but if somebody is dizzy, if somebody has falling problems, one of the first things you should do is have your ears checked. Let's find out if there's something wrong with your balance centers before we look at your extremities, your legs, to see if they're working correctly. But in our offices, we have the ability to do both. We're looking at the balance system. If we find something that is off on the balance system, we're able to turn around and tell our therapist, this is the problem that we found, this is the problem you need to treat.